About how we can calculate the exchanging quantity, I mean Q, and exchanging price, I mean we call it a equilibrium price. When you have given total cost equation and demand equation. Okay. So when you got some demand, so cost equation like this one, this type of total cost curve represent some valuable informations. Okay. So already we know that TC equal to TFC plus TVC. This is the concept. This equation always represent again this concept. Okay. If you identify that, Q always represent the number of production or number of selling quantity, exchange quantity. So then Q. So just consider if this producer or seller is not going to produce goods and services. I mean, production quantity is 0. Okay. Just assume that. Okay. Production quantity is 0 or selling quantity is 0. So then what happened to the total cost? TC equal 100 plus 5 multiplied by 0.
100.
Yes. Yeah, 100. Yes. Then total cost equal to 100.
Yes.
So then it review that if the quantity is 0, you have to pay only for the fixed cost.
Yes.
This is fixed cost. So now you can identify at that equation 100 represent the total fixed cost. Okay, 100 represent the total fixed cost. And again, what about this 5Q? According to change in the Q, I mean number of production, number of selling, the value of this can be changed. Definitely, it must be a variable factor, variable cost. Isn't it? Yes. So then, this 5Q, I mean this part of this total cost curve represent the TVC. So then TFC equal 100, TFC equal 5Q. So then you can identify according to the changing Q, the fixed cost is not going to change during the time period of short terms. Okay. If you can
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, could you please give me a few seconds? I forgot to bring the charger of the
Okay.
laptop.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Right. Now you identify the basic components related to the cost equation. Okay. So now you got the idea. This type of total cost equation represent the short-term cost of the production process. Yes. Okay. Now we know that the production quantity or selling quantity will be decided under any kind of market structure by considering this valuable two factor. It is first one is MR, second one is MC. We already discussed about that one. When you got the idea where the MR equal to MC, this is the optimum decision what you can get under this kind of market structure to maximize the profit. Yes. So then TC is very valuable to find the MC. Yes. So then if we are going to discuss about these equations, okay, this is not a normal equation for the demand. Always we know that demand equation is something like that one. QD equal A minus BP, something like that one. As an example, if we just go to that one, QD equal 100 minus 2P, something like that. Okay. But in here, we are going to change the direction of the P and Q. That is why something like that equation in here. Okay. As example, if we are going to convert that equation into that format, 2P change the direction side, it become plus 2P and 100 is available. QD become minus QD. Okay. And then P equal 100 minus QD divided by 2. Because the combination between P and 2, it is multiple. It's if I'm going to change the direction, so then it become something like that. Okay. it's 100 divided by 2, it is 50. Okay. QD divided by 2. That means in any variable in the mathematics, already got one value in front of the numerator. And first power divided by 1. So everything will be here, but we are not going to write down each and every components, isn't it? Yes. So then QD divided 2 mean 1 QD divided 2. Yes, that's a mathematical. So that means 1 divided by 2, 0.5 QD is the answer. So then minus 0.5 QD. So you get the idea. That's right. So something like that equation is there. So now you have to identify this is inverse demand function. This is not demand function. Inverse. Next side. Okay. Opposite side of the. So then you have to identify this entire equation represent the price, isn't it? Yes. Because it say that P equal to 50 minus 2Q. Yes. P equal to 50 minus 2. That means this entire equation represent the value for the P. P means price of the commodity. Okay. So you know that TR can be calculated P multiplied by Q. Yes. So then this equation will be valuable to find the total revenue and the marginal revenue, isn't it? Yes. So in here, total cost curve will be helpful to find the marginal cost. Yes. So then again, one side you identify the marginal cost. Again, another side you identify the marginal revenue. So when the marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, that must be the production quantity in here. So this production quantity must be the profit maximizing quantity. That is what we are looking for in here. So this is the basic idea. You must be with your mind before the calculation, that kind of equations. Rectangles calculations. Okay. If you got idea something like that one, the calculation will be very easy. Okay. Do not worry about the mathematical equations and other calculation methodologies. It's very simple. Okay. There's no complete calculation in here. Some minor calculation is there. Okay. Don't worry about that one. Okay. Right. Finding Q and P. Q means the quantity of the exchange. price of the commodity and profit maximizing position. Okay. Again, you have to identify, you cannot calculate the quantity and prices where profit getting losses or something like profit get minus value or something like that. Because already we know that each and every organization try to maximize their profit. Actually, we identify where organization can maximize the profit, where the marginal revenue equal to the marginal cost. This is the theory. So that position is the position where we are going to find out. Okay, right. To find out the marginal cost, there must be derivative activity for the total cost curve. Okay, we already get that TC equal 100 plus 5Q. TC equal 100 plus 5Q. This is the equation. We have to get the derivative of this total cost curve. If you are going to derivative this total cost curve, it become marginal cost curve. Okay, derivative. අවකලනය කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි. සිංහලේ derivative එකක් කියලා කියනවා. That means we all know that MC equal delta TC divided by delta Q. Isn't it? Yes. But in this position, we don't have two options. That is why we have to derivate. Okay, if we have two options for the total cost, this is 100, this is 200. So difference is 100. When the 100 quantity is 2 or 3, so then you get the value for the delta Q. So then easily you can count down the marginal cost. But in this position, total cost represented by the equations. That is why we have to derivate that total cost curve into with the marginal cost curve. Okay, then right. TC equal 100 plus 5Q. Okay. If you are going to derivate 100, it becomes 0. Okay. The derivative of the any valuable numbers becomes 0. If it is 2000, it also becomes 0. If it is 2, it also becomes 0. Okay. So how we can derivate other things? If you got that value, derivative must be 2x1. Take the power in front of the x value and minus 1 from the power. That's the theory. Something like that. 5x3. Derivative is take the value 3 value into the constant. So then it becomes this value and this one. Okay. So then what happened to the 5x? There's no power. There's no power. Then only 5 you can get. Only 5. As example, 10x become 10. Okay. So then derivative of this equation 0 plus 5. That means MC equal 5. It represents that if you are going to produce additional unit, you have to pay 5 rupees. That's the reality. Okay. Finally, you have to identify in here, if you are going to derivate this equation into the marginal cost curve, you can go to only 5 value. That represents if you are going to produce additional production into the total production quantity, your additional cost is just 5. As example, Q is there, you are producing 1 production and total cost is 100. Okay. And you try to increase the production by 1 unit. And the total cost become 105. So then you can identify marginal cost is just 5. This is the value where we identify by derivating the total cost curve, total cost equation. Sorry. Did you get the idea?
Yes.
Yes. Don't worry about this one because it is very simple. Okay. You have to derivate the equation, isn't it? That's only. So it becomes marginal cost curve. Right. This is the derivation. And then we have to identify the quantity of exchange, P and Q. Already we got the value for the MC. No need to worry about the MC. Then we have to worry about the MR. Okay. Without finding the value for the TR, you cannot find the value for the MC. Okay. Yes, we got the idea how we can calculate the TR. TR equal P multiplied by Q. So what do you represent by Q? Q it is represent the quantity of exchange. I mean equilibrium quantity. So what P represent? P represent the quantity or equilibrium price. Yes. Or price of the certain commodity. Anything. Right. Then we got the equation related to the demand. Okay. It represent by the P. So 50 minus 2Q. So P equal 50 minus 2Q, isn't it? Yes. 2Q represent the price. Then how we can take into this one? TR equal P multiplied by Q. For the Q, we can substitute this equation, isn't it? Yes. TR equal P. For the P, we are going to write this part. I mean, 50 minus 2Q. Q mean Q it is Q. Q represent the quantity of exchange. So entire equation multiplied by Q. Okay, then TR equal 50 multiplied by Q. It is 50Q. Okay, are you okay with that one?
Yes.
Okay, then minus value. Then 2Q become this value. Right. Then you got the value for the TR. Right? Nothing to worry about this step. It's very simple. Okay. Multiplied by Q. Equation multiplied by Q. So you got the value for the TR equation. Then if any equation you are going to derivate by the Q, you got the value for the marginal. Okay. Then you have to find the MR delta TR divided by delta Q. This is the simple methodology. But we don't have two types of option. We got only equation for the TR. Then we have to derivate this TR equation into the MC equation. So then TR equal 50Q minus 2Q power. Okay. Then we are going to derivate this one. Okay. Already what we have done in here. 5Q become 5 after derivation, isn't it? So then what happened to the 50Q? Only 50. If 5Q become 5, it must be 50. Yes. Minus value. Take the power into the in front of the Q. It becomes 4 and Q. 1 power 1. We are not going to write down this one. It's only 5. So this is the equation where we can identify as marginal revenue. Okay, this is the equation for the marginal revenue. I think you got you can write down the equation for the marginal cost curve and marginal revenue equations. Okay. Right. And already we got the value for MC and MR. Okay. Now the methodology where the profit maximize any kind of equation, any kind of organization is MR equal to MC. So MR means 50 minus 4Q. MC is just 5. So then we are going to calculate the value for the Q. 50 minus 5 equal 4Q. Okay. And then 45 equal to 4Q. Right. And then 45 divided by 4, it must be equal to Q. 45 divided by 4, it becomes 11.25 Q. So this is what? This is the production quantity or selling quantity of this particular production process. Okay, we got this one, Q. Right? Okay, then okay, then we can go to the main equation to find out the price of the commodity. Okay, it is very easy to use that P equation, I mean demand equation. P equal 50 minus 2Q. Let's use this one. So then P equal 50 minus 2 multiplied by 11.25. Okay, that means 11.25 multiplied by 2. It becomes 22.5. P equal 50 minus 22.5. Okay, 50 minus 22.5, it is 27.5. Okay, this is the value for the price. Right. We got the idea, each and everything in here. Okay. Right. We got the value for the price. Price it is 27.5. Amount of the production knowing exchange, I mean equilibrium amount, it is 11.25. And we got the equation for the TC. TC is 100 plus 5Q. 100 plus 5Q. And TR also here, 50 minus 4Q. Sorry, 50Q minus 2Q. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. 50Q minus 2Q power.
Oh.
Yes. Now, this is the time where we can calculate the profit. How we can calculate? Profit equal TR minus TC. Total revenue minus total cost. Yes. How we can calculate? So take the value for the TR first of all. Then it is easy. TR equal Q mean 50 multiplied by 11.25 minus 2 11.25 power. It must be the TR. 50 minus 11.25. Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. 11.25. Do you have a scientific calculator?
Yes, I have.
Is that value okay? 250.125.
Yes.
Okay. So then TR is total revenue is 815.625, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, right. So now this is the time we can calculate the total cost. TC. TC equal 100 plus 5 multiplied by 11.25. TC equal 100 plus 5 multiplied by 11.25. 56.25. So TC is 156.25, isn't it? Yes. We got the value for the TR. TR mean 815.62 point minus 156.25. Okay, that means 659.37, isn't it? Are you okay with that numbers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So we calculate the profit and find the price for the certain commodity at the equilibrium point.
Yes.
Where the maximize the profit for the certain organization. And we find out the quantity of the production or selling exchange where the organizational profitability is maximized.
Yeah.
Okay, we identify the total revenue at that point and the total cost at that maximum profit maximizing level. So that those are the equations and those are the calculation you have to calculate during the exam. Okay. After identify the behavior and the values related to the perfect competitive market structure and monopoly, we can discuss the past papers. Okay. Then we can calculate. So in here, I calculate this type of equation because you have to get the idea what kind of things you have to do during the exam time period by using these lessons. That is why I solve that kind of things. Okay. Right. And let's move to the next topic. So those are the marginal revenue and the other things. We already calculated it. Okay. Right. Then you got the idea. You have with that identification the relationship between marginal product and marginal cost, and the relationship between average production, average variable cost, and also marginal product and average product. Okay. So what we are going to discuss in the relationship between cost and production. Definitely, first of all, you have to identify if you are going to produce something, yes, cost will be there. Okay. If you are not going to produce anything, definitely fixed cost must be there. Okay. If you are going to change the number of productions, what will happen to the cost? It also must be changed. But you have to identify the patterns, the relationship between the production amount and the cost amount. It will be very easy to identify the behavior of the organizations or market structures or firms. Okay, that is why we are going to discuss something like that. So first of all, we discuss the graphical interpretation relationship between production and curve. You got only few elements, okay, not each and every elements. So you can identify average production is something like that. That means if you are going to increase the workers, I mean L, one by one, what will happen to the average production? It increase. Yes, it increase. It reached the maximum point. After reach the maximum point of the average production, if you try to increase the labor again and again, what will happen to the average production? It reduces. Okay. As an example, if you are going to discuss this scenario, L is the number of workers who are working in the organization. Working 20 workers. Okay. Total production is 100. Average production is TP divided by L. Average production. So it becomes 5. Okay. That means in here, in this position, 20 workers are there. Okay, simple identification for this position. Okay. 20 workers are there. Their total production is 100. One worker produce 5 commodities. One worker produce 5 commodities. That's the meaning of average production. This one. Okay. Again, you increase the workers, something like that. 30. And the production increased to 200. Production increased to 200 by using 30 workers. Then what happened to the average production? TP divided by L, 6.6. What happened to the average production? It increased. Yes, it increased. That means one producer produced more commodity than previous situation. Okay. So in here, that producer identify that increasing workers provide positive scenarios for the entire organization because the average production will increase due to increasement of the labor. Okay. So by looking at that idea, this producer increased the workers again into 40. Into 40. Okay. But the entire production didn't change. I mean, total production didn't change. Same production, I mean, 200 productions by using 40. Again, what happened? Reduce compared to the previous situation. One producer or one worker produce only 5 commodities now. Again, he increased the workers into 50. Same production. Then what happened? 200 divided by 50. One worker produced only 4 commodities. What happened to the average production? Reduce. Average production reduce. So now you can identify increasing continuously the workers, something like that one. What happened? Reach the maximum point and reduce the production. That's the nature. Okay. That's the nature. So it is equal to marginal cost. It is equal to marginal cost, where you can identify in that curve something like that. Sorry, average cost. Average cost. Average cost. As example, just consider if you are going to use less workers into the production, what happened to your cost? And what will happen to your production quantity? That is exactly equal to what happened in the average production process. It is something like mirror photo. Okay. If the average product increase, average cost reduce. If the average product reach the maximum point, average variable cost reach the minimum point. If the average production reduce, average cost try to increase. What that means is very simple to identify. In here, just identify you are going to pay for the one workers 100 rupees per day. And then 20 workers are there. It become 2,000. Okay, total cost for the entire workers become 2,000. And you produce only 100 commodities. Then what about the average cost? 20. Yes, average cost 20. That means to produce one commodity, you are going to pay for the one workers 20 rupees. At that point, same value, 200. Sorry, 100 for the workers, multiply by 30. Then 3 1000 will be as a cost, variable cost. Then divided by the 30, it become, yeah, isn't it? 30.
30.
So what will happen? Increase the average variable cost. Okay. When reach the maximum point, I mean 6 point, just let's discuss about this one. And 50, that means 5,000 you are going to spend on that position. But your production is just 4. You are spending 5,000 to produce 200 commodities at that point. So then what happened to the average variable cost? It increased to 25. Increase. That means when the average production reduce, that type, that part, what happened to the average variable cost? It increased.
Yes.
So then you have to maximize the average production, isn't it?
Yes.
If you can maximize the average production, that means something like that position, I mean this position. What will happen to the average variable cost? Reduce. Is that favorable for the producer or not? Favorable. Average production increase, but average variable cost reduce. That is what they are looking for. This is what they are looking for. Okay. So that's the relationship between average production and the average variable cost. Okay. And now we are heading to marginal. Always, it is a theory, okay? It is constant factor. Marginal production curve always cross the maximum point of average production. And again, marginal cost curve always cross the minimum point of average variable cost. Is that similar or not? Similar. So marginal product represents the additional production of the production process when you are going to increase the labor. As an example, in that position, you increase by 10. Workers increase by 10 quantity. And production increased by 100. So 100 divided by 10, it is 10. The value for the marginal is just 10. Something like that. So that position, you increase workers by 10, but similar total production. So then marginal becomes 0. Yes, there's no value for the marginal. There's no marginal production. So then that is why if the average production reduce, marginal production reduce more than average production. Okay, that is why when the average production reach the maximum point, marginal products cross the line for the average. That's the theory. At that point, similar things happen in related to the marginal cost also. If the average production reach the minimum point, always marginal product cross the line of average production. It is similar happen to this one. Because this marginal product and marginal cost represent the same institute, same production process, same income and expenditure. So that is why it behaves similarly. If you got the mirror in front of this curve, I mean AP and MP curve, it represents the AVC and MC. That's a relationship. Okay. So it will be very useful to identify the behavior of the work, behavior of the organization in the near future when we are going to discuss about the behavior of perfect competitive market and monopoly. It will be very useful. Okay, so that is how we develop the relationship between MP and MC, marginal product and marginal cost. Inverse relationship. When MP increases, MC fail. False, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
MP increase, then it falls. And something like similar happening. When MC again fail, it try to increase. Inverse relationship, negative relationship. No, it is not plus relationship or parallel one. It is inverse relationship. This one also, AP and ABC, average product and average variable cost. It's average values. Inverse relationship. It also inverse. When the AP increases, ABC falls. AP increase, falls. Maximum, minimum. AP falls, ABC increase. Inverse relationship between those two. That is what is represent that. MP cross AP at the maximum point. This is the maximum point. So then it is related to the inverse, what we call MC cross the ABC at the minimum. That in and the maximum, that must be the minimum. That is what represent the inverse relationship. Okay, you got the idea for the relationship between marginal and production and marginal cost. Okay. Then let's move to the long run. After identify the long run production process, we can move to the calculation of profit maximizing other things. Okay, before that one, we have to identify the long run production process, because in the calculation, we are not going to calculate long run production behaviors, because each and everything asking about the short run productions behaviors. Okay, you can download the tutorials in your LMS. Okay, I upload the previous one and I will upload this one also. Okay. With the write down each and everything. Okay, the long run production. When we are going to discuss about the Koch-Douglas production function, Q equal F LK. You may have remember that. In short run production equation represented by the Koch-Douglas production function L, comma K hat. In here is represent at least one production factor is constant. That means during the time period of short-term production process, you cannot change some production factors. Definitely we know that capital cannot be changed during the production period of the short run. Yes. How you can identify that one? Because your financial abilities, financial strength is not enough to change the fixed factors, especially buildings and equipments, machineries and vehicles, something like that. You are unable to change that one. That is why we call those factors are fixed during the time period of short terms. Yes. Term is not going to calculate by using the date and hours. It calculated or it identified by using the abilities of the product producers. In that time period, I mean short-term period, there is no abilities to change those factors. That is why we call it some restricted time period. Okay, but in here, you can write down the Cobb-Douglas production function related to the long-term period, L variable, K also variable. That means you got the ability change the each and every factors which use as a production factors in the production process, isn't it? Yes, we call it long-term production process, long-term production process. Okay, so it is very easy to identify the difference between long run and short run. In here, we are going to discuss about the long run production cost. In the long run, all inputs are variable. Yes, all inputs variable. That means you can change each and every variable. Meaning, firm can adjust labor, capital, technology, everything to maximize, so minimize the cost and maximize the efficiency. If they are expecting to minimize the cost and maximize the profitability or efficiency of the production process, they can change the labor, capital, technology, buildings, everything. This is unlikely short terms, isn't it? Yes. In short term, they can change only labor. Labor means labor represents the variable factor. But capital become fixed factor during the period of SRA, I mean short run. But in the long run, unlikely. They can change each and everything. Where some costs are fixed during the period of short run, the long run allows firm optimize the production. They can optimize the production by using any technology throughout the economic scales and cost minimizing strategies. Can every organization try to minimize the cost? Why? If they can minimize the total cost, compared to the total revenue, you can earn plus profit, isn't it? Yes. That is why this try to minimize. If the producer maximize the total cost, what will happen to the profit? Profit will be minus. It will be loss. So that is why each and every organization try to cost minimizing strategies. They try to reduce the cost. Always. Yes. So what is the meaning of economic scales? I will describe that. Economic scale and diseconomic scales. But that theory, I mean economic scale, is only related to the long-term period. Already we identify something like that one during the period of short-term period. What is? Diminishing marginal returns. When fixed factors are available, you try to increase the variable factor to increase the production. But certain point, increasing the variable factor reduce the total production. That's the meaning of diminishing marginal returns. It is belong to the short-term period, short-term theory. But in long-term theory, you have to identify the economic scale. Okay, don't worry about that. I will describe economic scale. Okay, the shape of the long run cost curve, we call it LRAC, long run AC. If SRAC, it represents the short run average cost. Influenced by the economic scales. What it happened is something like that. Long run average cost or short run, anything. Just identify the average cost. What's the meaning of average cost? Average cost means cost per one unit, isn't it? Cost per one unit. If you are going to produce 1 unit of production, you have to spend that amount of money. That's the meaning of average cost. As an example, just consider this is TC. TC means total cost, and this is AC. And you are going to produce this amount, I mean Q. Okay. Two productions are there, two quantities. 100 is the total cost. Then 50 is the average cost. Yes. You have to spend 50 rupees to produce one commodities. That's the meaning of cost per one unit. Cost per one unit. That's the theory. Okay. So just consider, if you can reduce the value for the average cost, is that favorable for the producer or not? Favorable. Why?
You repeat it again? What is it?
If any producer can reduce the average cost, is that favorable to producer or not?
Favorable, yes.
Yes. Because TC can be calculated AC multiplied by Q. 50 is the AC, production quantity is just 2, the total cost must be 100, something like that. If you can reduce the average cost into 20, same production quantity, then what will happen to the TC?
40.
TC become reduced. It's just 40 rupees. So then what happened? When compared to the TC, if TC reduce, you can earn plus profit. That's the secret behind that, this one. Okay. So then economic scale always represent the cost per one unit. But in the long run time period, the cost per one unit behave in three manners. Can categorize that behavior into three categories. First one, increasing scale, constant scale, decreasing scale. During the period of long-term production process, the cost per one unit can be increased or decreased or constant. That we call as economic scale. Okay, first of all, we have to identify the economic scale. Economic scale mean the cost per one unit. The cost per one unit. We call it average cost. Okay. If the average cost decreasing, is that favorable for the producer? Yes. Yes. If the average cost reducing, is good for the producer. Okay. When other things are remaining constant, if producer can reduce the production cost, average production cost, it's very easy to continue the production. Right. This one. As production expand, when the producer expand the production quantity, the cost per unit fails. That what we call as economic scale. What happened? When the producer produce more and more commodity, when the producer increase the production quantity, the cost per unit fails.
Yes.
The cost per unit is reducing due to this kind of factors. What are they? First one is technical efficiencies. They are using latest technology for the entire production process. Then what happened to the average cost? It reduces. If you are using manual activities to the production process, the time period and the cost of the production unit, it can be increased. But if you are going to use efficiency technology for the production process, during the same time period, your production quantity can be increased, the quality of the production also can be increased, and the unit cost of the production also can be reduced. It is a good situation for the producer. We call it economic scales. Okay, technical efficiency, better machinery. You are going to produce goods and services by using better machineries, which use less power and produce more commodities. Use less power and produce more commodities. That's the meaning of better machineries. And the automations without interrupting the workers into the production process. Automatic productions. So then there is no need to worry about the time period. If you are producing something by using labor, you have to worry about the time period, isn't it?
Yes.
So daytime period, which time you are going to start the production, which time you are going to end up the production, it can be changed. But if you are going to use only machineries to the entire production, no need to worry about the time period. You can produce goods and services throughout the 24 hours, isn't it? Just take as example, financial organization, I mean bank, financial commercial bank use workers to continue the teller working in front of the computer, deposit and withdrawals. He can work only starting from the 9 a.m. and from the 3 p.m. So all transaction will be there. But if you are going to establish CDM machine, cash deposit machine and ATM machine, automatic teller machine, no need to worry about the time period. 24 hours working. That's the meaning of automations.
Yes.
So then the cost of the producing one services, it can be reduced. So that is why we call it about the technical efficiency. You can reduce the cost per unit. And the second one is specialization. Specialization means during the period of labor division, one worker got only one activity in the organization, production steps. So then he is doing same thing again and again in the same period, the long-term period. So then what will happen? The skill of the labor can be increased because doing same activity, long-term period, he got skills of the productions. The time period to produce one unit can be reduced. The cost per one unit can be reduced. He can produce more and more commodity within certain time period. That's the meaning of skill of labor. Division of tasks create the specialization. Specialization can be goes to only one workers, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
If I am going to teach only economics, so I will specialize for the economic, not for the accounting, not for the business studies, not for the statistics, anything. Especially in that time period also, I don't have any idea about the accounting. If you give some calculation related to the accounting, I will fail. Yes, definitely no, nothing to discuss about that one because I don't have any idea about those things. Because I'm using that subject, teach and everything done by using economics. I got some valuable knowledge related to the economics. That's the meaning of specialization. Okay. So if you are going to use that specialization technology or methodology to the entire production process, what will happen to the cost per unit? It can reduce.
Yes.
So that is why it become a factor. And the bulk purchasing. In studying about the accounting, you may have good identification related to the bulk purchasing. If you get the bulk purchasing, you will get some offers
Yes.
from the sellers. So what will happen to the cost per ingredients? It reduces. Yes, that also become economic scales. It helps to reduce the cost per unit. Yes. And the financial advantages. Financial advantages. Lower borrowing cost from large firms, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
If I am going to borrow some ingredients from the small scale industries, the cost can be increased. If you are going to take that kind of ingredients from the large industries, the cost per one unit can be reduced because they are offering many things for us. So those are the activities you can do during the period of long-term period to reduce the average production, to reduce the average cost of the production. So we call it economic scales. Economic scale. As example, if you are going to discuss that one, this time, I mean, reduce the average cost. When you are going to increase the quantity, this is the cost. Average cost is reducing. Average cost reducing. This is the time period where we can earn economic scale. That part already discussed in here. Okay, right. And next one. This economics, the opposite side of the economic scale. So then what happened at that point? Long run average cost increasing. Cost increasing. That means the cost per unit is rising. This is not a favorable situation. Okay. Behind the certain point, if you are going to produce goods and services more and more, then what happens? The cost per unit can be increased. Don't worry about the behind the point. I will discuss what the meaning of behind the point. Okay. Due to the managerial inefficiencies. Managerial inefficiency. Too large to control efficiency, effectiveness. If the size of the organization is too large, then what happens? You cannot manage it. Managing 100 people in the organization, it will be easy. Actually, it's not easy. Okay, but can we say that easy? More than comparing to the manage 1,500 people in the organization. It is very hard to manage in the large scale industries. That is why cost can be increased. Right? Coordination costs. Difficult to communicate between large number of workers, isn't it?
Yes.
So coordination costs also can be increased. It helps to increase the average cost, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Then it becomes diseconomic scales. Yes. And some different type of bad behaviors of the workers. Okay. Their disciplines, activities related to the financial activities, financial transactions can be occur. You can identify some bribery activities related to the government organizations. Yes. වැඩියම හොරා ගන්න වැඩියම සල්ලි ගැවසෙනවා. Yes. That's a theory. හොරා කන්න බැරි සල්ලි ගැවසෙන්නේ නැති තැන්වල. So that's the meaning of the theory. Okay. Always bribery commission also consider about the large scale industry, not about the small scale industries. Okay. And the decision making also can be effective as a negative for the increase the cost per one unit. Slow decision making to the making large firms. So it will be a negative factor to the entire organization. That is why average cost increase. The decision making is not reliable to the entire production. And the next one is constant. Constant means you are going to increase the production, but it's not going to increase. Constant returns. Constant returns. Return is constant. Okay. We already identified two types. It is economic scale, isn't it? And diseconomic scale. This is constant. I will describe by using a table. This is the input. And this is the output. During the period of economic scale, you are trying to increase input by 20%. Okay. Output increase by 40%. Is that favorable? Yes, 1 minute, please. Sorry. Right. During the period of economic scale, you increase the total input by 20%. As example of increasing 20% input, you increase the output by 40%. So then it favorable and average cost reduce. Isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
During the period of this economic scale, you are going to increase the input by same value, 20% increase. But output increase by 10%. It also increased, but it increased by 10%. So what about the return? Return is not in a good position. We call is average cost increase. Average cost increase. That is what represented by the diseconomic scale, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. During the constant scale period, you are going to increase the input by 20% and output also increase similar. So then what about the average cost? It is constant. No change in the average cost of production. No change. So that is why we call it constant scales. Something like that one. Long run average cost. I will divide this curve into part A, part B, and part C. Okay. During the part of A, you know that when the quantity increase, average cost, what happened to the average cost? It's going to reduce. So we call it something like that. Input increases by 20, output increases by 40, and reduce the average cost. It is favorable situation for the entire producer. So during the first B period, there's no certain behavior for the average cost. You are going to increase the input by 20, output also increase by 20. The same quantity and the average cost also not going to change in a certain amount. So this can be called as constant. Constant means not going to change the average cost. But during the period of C part of the long run average cost, you are going to increase the input by 20%, but the output increase by just only 10%.
Yes.
So that means the average cost is going to be increased. Curve goes to increase. So that means diseconomic scales must be there. So in that time period, you have to identify each and every factors can be changed in the long time period. So this is the most valuable part of the long-term period. What is economic scales, diseconomic scales, and the constant scales. We call it increasing returns, decreasing returns, and constant returns. Increasing returns mean returns is in a good level. You are increase input by 20%, but output increased by 40%. Increasing returns. You are increasing input by 20%, by output increase by 10%. It is decreasing returns. This is constant return. Similar amount of increase of the output and input. Constant returns. We call it constant return. So it is not favorable for the organization. organization always try to keep the production process in increasing returns, economic scales. That is why we have to use management. Okay, it's very easy to identify those things, right? Okay. Constant characteristics of constant return. I mean this position. Input increase 20%, output increase 20%. Efficiency remain constant, isn't it? No change in the efficiency. If efficiency increase, what will happen to the output? Output must increase. Output must take greater value than the input increasement.
Yes.
But in efficiency remaining constant, that is why production is not going to expand much as expected. So then non-cost advantages or disadvantages must be there for the entire organization from scaling. Scale not going to be changed. Remain in that scale. The production amount, production abilities are similar. If you are going to use 10 input, output is 10. So if you are going to increase input by 100%, production also can be increased by 100%. Similar output. That means you try to find out 1 lakh by using 1 lakh rupees. Similar output is there. So at that point, you have to identify that expanding the production process is not give the valuable things for you. රුපියල් ලක්ෂයක් වේදන් කරලා ලක්ෂය නම් හොයන්නේ ලක්ෂ 5ක් ඒ වෙලේ වේදන් කරන්න යනවා නම් ආයෙත් හම්බෙන්නේ ලක්ෂ 5ම. මොකටද එක්ස්පෑන්ඩ් කරන්නේ ඕගනයිසේෂන් එක? බොරු වැඩනේ. ඉතින් රුපියල් 5ක් වේදන් කරලා රුපියල් 5ක් එවන ඊටත් ඊට ඒ රුපියල් ලක්ෂ 7 තියන්නේ ඒකත් ඉවරයි මහන්සියකුත් නෑ. ඔන්නෝක තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන හින්දා මේ රිටර්න්ස් ගැන අයිඩියා එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන කම්පැනි එකක රිටර්න් එක ගැන අයිඩියා එකක් නැතුවම ඩිසිෂන් ගන්න වැරදි ඩිසිෂන්. ඒකයි ස්කේල්ස් ගැන රිටර්න්ස් ගැන හොඳ අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවා. And the long run average cost, I mean LRAC, remain flat, something like that. Is flat or parallel with the horizontal axis. Remain flat because cost per unit stay same, not going to change. That is why we call it constant return or constant scale. Right, graphical interpretation for that one is this one. We already identified that. Downward slope, economic of scales. Yes, because it represents the average cost for the long run. It reduces. It represents the economic scales. And flat sections, I mean this part, B part, constant return to scale, isn't it? Yes. Upward slope, this one, this economic scale. That means long run average cost is going to increase. Increase means you are getting this economic scale. That's the situation. Okay, it's very easy to identify what happened in the long run time period. Okay. How that long run average cost curve built up? By using this one. Okay, that represents long run average cost curve. You know that during this time period, it must be economic scale, is it? This must be constant scale, constant return. This must be this economic scale or return is reduction. Yes. That's the meaning of long run. LAC mean long run average cost. Long run average cost. This vertical axis represents the average cost. Horizontal axis represents the output amount. Okay. So then long run average cost curve, I mean LRAC curve, shows the lowest possible cost. Lowest possible cost per unit of output when all inputs are variable in the long run. Yes. unlike in the short run. Where some costs are fixed, firms can adjust all the resources to achieve the optimum production efficiency during the period of long term. So then SAC means short run average cost. Short run average cost first, short run average cost 2, short run average cost 3. So then you have to identify the long run average cost curve built up by using separate short run average cost curves. Combine the minimum point of the short run average cost curves. අර ෂෝට් රන් එකේ කෙටි කාලේදී තියෙන ඇවරේජ් කොස්ට් එකේ මිනිමම් පොයින්ට් ඔක්කොම යා කරාම තියෙන කර්ව් එක තමයි ලෝන් රන් එකේ ඇවරේජ් කොස්ට් කර්ව් එක කියලා ඔය බිල්ඩ් අප් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒතර මැතමැටිකල් කම්බිනේෂන් එකක් තමයි අදින ඔක කැල්කියුලේට් කරලා අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඉච්චර දුරට අපි යන්න ඕනේ මේ ලෙවල් එකේ. මේක කොහොමද බිල්ඩ් අප් ඒක මෙතන තියෙන ඩෙරිවේටිව් තියෙන්නේ. ඩෙරිවේටිව් තියෙනවා ඒකේ අනිත් පැත්ත තියෙනවා ඒක ඔක හදාගෙන යනකොට ඉච්චර යන්න ඕනේ නෑ මේක මතක තියාගන්න මේක මිනිමම් පොයින්ට් යා කරලා තමයි ලෝන් රන් ඇවරේජ් කොස්ට් කර්ව් එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. Okay, right. That is how we can identify the combination between short run and long run cost per unit. Right. And now we can move to the market structures. First one is perfect competitive market structure. Second one is monopoly. Third one is monopolistic competition market structure. Fourth one, I mean, final one, it is oligopoly. Right. This, after identify this section, you can identify the real behavior of the market during the any kind of periods. Short run or long run, anytime. Okay. So we are going to identify the perfect competitive market structure. The perfect competitive market structure is a theoretical market structure characteristic by large number of buyers and large number of sellers are there. There are no single firms, no single firm can influence the market prices. No single firm can influence the market price. What does that mean? That means one producer cannot change the price of the market. That means they don't have power to influence the market price. As an example, just consider about the production of paddy in Sri Lanka. Large number of sellers are there, isn't it? Yes. Now, large number of buyers also are there. Yes. One farmer cannot change the price of the 1 kilo of paddy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. That's the meaning of where no single firm can influence the market prices. Because they own the market share, tiny market share. පොඩි කොටසයි අයිති වෙලා. If you consider about the total production of the paddy production in one season, one farmer produce tiny share. That is why they cannot influence the market price. In this market, goods are homogeneous. Homogeneous means you cannot identify the producer by production. What does that mean? You cannot identify producer by the production. That means, so just consider about the mobile phone. By looking at the mobile phone, you can identify the producer, isn't it? That's the meaning of heterogeneous product.
Okay.
So that by looking at the mobile phone, you cannot identify this produced by the Motorola. That means by looking at the production, you can identify the producers, where it located. Each and everything can be identified. As example, can you identify the producer by looking at the pumpkin? You cannot do it.
Yes.
actually related to the agriculture production. By looking at the agriculture production, you cannot identify the producer. That's the theory. That is why we call that homogeneous production. The size, price, shape, color, packaging, everything similar. Then you cannot identify the producers. But the industrial production, this is mobile phone industrial production, you can identify very easily. Look at the laptop you are using now in this time period. You can identify the producer very easily. So that's the meaning of heterogeneous products. There must be difference between one production that producer to another producer. Just consider about the HP producer to compare to the Apple or something like that. There must be some features, heterogeneous features. But in this particular market, I mean, perfect competitive market is structured. There is no change from the producer, one producer to another. They are producing same production, same features, same prices, and everything similar. That is why we call it homogeneous production. Okay, and firms are price takers. You can identify two types of firms in the industry. Do you have any idea the difference between firms and industry? Firms. But in normal situation, we don't have any idea about the difference between firms and industry. They are using those two words to represent the producer. But it is wrong. Okay, I will describe that two types of concept by using example. Okay, so just consider about the ice cream in Sri Lanka. Okay, Kotmale. Kotmale is one of the firm identified as a producer for ice cream. One firm. So what are the other things? Kotmale, Elephant House, Highland, Alaris, many Kagis. So collection of firms produce similar production. Okay, collection of firms produce similar production, same production. We call it industry. Collection of similar producers or similar firms produce similar productions to the market. We call it industry. One of them are firms. Okay, so just consider they are producing vanilla 1 liter ice cream. Vanilla 1 liter ice cream. Okay, the price decided under the industry, it is 300 rupees as example. Okay, if each and every firm in the industry accept that price, they're going to accept, yes, okay, this is the price of the vanilla 1 liter. So they become price takers. Okay, if Kotmale decide, no, I'm using separate input or valuable input for producing vanilla 1 liter, I'm not going to accept that price. I will label the price 450 rupees for 1 liter of vanilla. So then Kotmale become price maker, not price taker. Did you get idea? මෙහෙම දෙයක්. දැන් හැමෝම හිතන හැමෝම අනිත් හැමෝම කිව්වා vanilla 1 liter 300ක් විකුණනවා. accept කරා. ඒතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ price takers ලා වුණා. හැබැයි කොත්මලේ එක කියනවා නෑ මම හදන්නේ ice cream වෙනම මම press milk පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ ඒව ගණන් වැඩි ලොකු process එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ හින්දා මම දෙන්නේ රුපියල් 450ට. එයාගේ production එකට value එක තීරණය කරා. He decide the price of their own production. We call it price maker.
But still in the part of the industry, no, sir?
But it's still in the part of the industry. Competition can be changed due to the change in the prices, isn't it? Yes, but still they can produce goods and services under this industry. No problem. Okay. But there is no something like that happening in the perfect competitive market structure. Each and every firm's active as a price takers. Yes, they are price takers. They are not going to decide the price of their own production, isn't it? Yes, as a farmer in the paddy production, they are not going to decide the price of the paddy production. They only accept the price. එහෙමනේ වී හදලා කියනවාද මන් නම් විකුණන්නේ මේ ගන්න කියලා. එහෙම කියන්න බෑ. එක්ක රජය කියයි නැත්නම් පෞද්ගලික මිලදී ගන්න ගියම අපි ගන්න මේ ගන්න එක හරි ගන්නවා. ඉතින් එච්චර. නැත්නම් ඉතින් ගෙදර තියන්න ඉන්න පුළුවන්. එච්චර තමයි කරන්නේ. So then they act as a price takers. Meaning they accept the market price determined by the supply and demand from the market. We already discussed about the equilibrium price. They accept equilibrium prices. So key characteristics related to the perfect competitive market structure. First one is many buyers and many sellers. Many me there were වචන වලක් තියෙනවා පොඩි මීම එකක්. Many කියන්නේ many or large number. Many or large number means you cannot count out. Do you have any idea how many farmers are there to produce paddy production in Sri Lanka? No, you can say many. Okay. So then what about the few? You can count it very easily. As an example, banking industry in Sri Lanka. How many private banks are there? You can count it. That's the meaning of few. Okay. There's a difference between many and few. Okay. Large number. Okay. Many for buyers and many sellers. No single buyers or no single sellers has market powers. There's no power for any kind of seller or any kind of buyer. As an example, you are also a buyer in the price market, isn't it? Yes. But you cannot change the price of the 1 kilo of rice, isn't it? You cannot change it. So then homogeneous products, we already discussed that. Homogeneous product. Goods are identical. Goods are identical. You know the features of the good very well, with no difference. There is no differentiations. That is why I say that you cannot identify the producer by looking at the production. That is we call as there is no differentiation of the productions. And free entry and free exit. Free entry. This is the industry. We call it ice cream industry. Okay. There's few firms, Kotmale, Elephant House, Highland, Alaris, Cargill's. Okay, it's there. A new firms, we call it ABC ice cream, try to enter the industry. We call it this new companies, new firms. It's not still in the industry. He's try to start the producing ice cream. And he tried to enter the industry. Okay. If there is no restrictions to enter the industry, we call it free entry. Free entry. If there is no any restrictions, rule and regulation to enter the ice cream production, you call it free entry, isn't it? Yes. If there is some restrictions, rule and regulations, license, legal activities to enter that particular production, you call it, there's no free entry. We call it entry barriers. Entry barriers. As example, entry barriers, you got money, okay? You got a lot of money. Just imagine you got a lot of money. Your mind say that starting a pharmacy can be a good business. Okay, can you start a pharmacy? You can't do it. You must have a license. So then we call it artificial uh, entry barriers are there. Okay, where was it? Where in was it?
Vatan.
Okay. Can you produce paddy production?
No.
No, you cannot do it. So then natural barriers are there. Okay, but we can do it. Yeah, I am living in Anuradhapura, so I can do it. Very easily I can do it because a lot of land areas are there, free land areas. But in your area, it's very hard to do something like that. Environmental and the water supply, irrigation system, and each and everything create barriers to enter that particular production industry. So we call it barriers, entry barriers. Okay. If there is no barriers, it must be free entry. But in particular, this perfect competitive market is structured. There is no barriers. Okay. Firm can easily enter the industry or market and leave. If any firms, just take Alaris from the ice cream industry, they try to leave the industry. We call it exit. Exit from the industry. He's not going to produce more and more any more ice cream. He's going to produce another things. We call it exit. If nothing, any hesitation, if that Alaris can exit the entire industry, we call it free exit. Okay. But if there are many kind of barriers to exit from the particular industry, we call it exit barriers. As an example, if you have an agreement with other organization to supply commodities to entire during the period of the year, you cannot exit the industry because there is an agreement between you and the organization. The වෙලා තියෙන රජයේ මොනවා හරි ගත්තාම exit barriers. අපිට ඕන තැන නතර කරන්න බෑ නඩු. Exit barriers. That's the meaning of exit barriers. Exit barriers can be created by using the legal frameworks. We call it artificial exit barriers. And also you can create natural barriers. As an example, just consider about the farmers who are producing paddy production in our area. They cannot exit from that one. Why? Yes, they know that they cannot make the profit by using that kind of production. But they don't have options to do other things in that kind of area. They don't have money. They don't have options. They don't have equipments. They don't have area which suitable for other things. So then only one option is there, produce paddy production. Yes, they know that by doing that paddy production, they have to get the losses from the market prices. But still they are doing same things. That is why we call it exit barriers. Exit barriers. අපේ පැත්තේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සුන්ට දන්නවා බී වගා කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ හින පාඩුයි කියලා දන්නවා ඔබ. ඔය ගන්න අතරමැදිය කියලා දන්නවා. හාල් මෝල් හිමිය තමයි ඔකේ මේ ලාභ උපයන්නේ කියලා දන්නවා. ඒ මිනිස්සුන්ට කරන්න වෙන ඔප්ෂන් එකක් තියෙනවනේ. ඔප්ෂන් එකක් නැහැ. දැන් ඒක අතහැරලා ඒගොල්ලෝ මොකද කරන්නේ? මෙහෙ නෑ එහෙම එකක්. මොකද රස්සාවලට යන්නේ කියලා. මේව නෙමෙයි. හරි. ඔප්ෂන් නැහැ. ඔපචුනිටිස් නැහැ. බිස්නස් එක පටන් ගන්න කියලා. එහෙමත් බෑ. ඒතර ඒගොල්ලන්ට exit barriers තියෙනවා. That is why they are still producing under this perfect competitive market structure. Okay. Perfect informations. All buyers or sellers have full knowledge of prices and production activities. So as an example, if I am going to ask, do you have any idea how to produce pumpkin? You may don't have, but you can get the idea by looking at the video or something. Informations are available. Do you have any idea how to produce a car? No, you cannot get the information also. Those are very valuable information. This is not valuable. As an example, perfect competitive market, it's agriculture productions. Informations are available. That is why perfect information are available. Price, productions, each and everything can be taken by the buyers and sellers. Very easily achieve the knowledge. That is why we call it perfect information are there. They act as a price taker. Firms must accept the market price. They cannot set their own prices. If they can set their own prices, we can call them as price makers. But unfortunately, they cannot set the price of their own productions. They have to accept the market prices were decided under the demand and supply curves intercept each other market price. So those are the basic characteristics related to the perfect competitive market structure. And let's move to the next. And in here, I mean perfect competitive market structure. The behavior of demand curve is very different from the normal curve. In a perfect competitive market structure, the demand curve has two perspectives. First one is market demand curve and second one is firm demand curve. Market means as a collection of all producers, all sellers. Firm means only one firm, only one producer. In the market demand curve follows the law of demand. This is normal one. We already discussed about the law of demand, the negative relationship between price and quantity demand. It is similar, meaning as downward sloping curve, something like that. This is demand curve in the market of perfect competitive market structure. But in here, as the price decreases, quantity demand increases. Same negative relationship, okay? But in here, I mean firms demand curve, only one firm, a single firm in a perfect competitive market structure act as a price taker. Is a price taker. He cannot change the own price of their production because there are many sellers offering identical production. Identical production means homogeneous product. Similar productions are there. If you are producing similar production, your production market price is just 20 rupees. Then you have to accept it. If I am also producing similar production, I also have to sell that my production also into 20 rupees. That is what we call as they have to take the price taker act as a price because there are many sellers are there offering identical production or homogeneous production, same productions. The firm can sell any quantities at the market prices, but cannot change the higher prices. As a result, the firm's demand curve perfectly elastic, horizontal at the market prices. It is something like that. Market price is 20. You can sell 100 commodities or 200 commodities, any. This is price, this is quantity. So demand curve is a horizontal line or parallel line to the horizontal axis. This is demand. We call it perfect elastic. P, E, D is infinity. Okay, so those are the usage of the elasticity. We already discussed about the elasticity. Now this is the time we can use that elasticity knowledge into this position. Okay, and that means something like that. This is the industry. collection of all firms and collection of all sellers and all buyers. Demand curve is behave according to the demand law. Negative relationship between price and quantity of demand. Supply also similar. Positive relationship between price and quantity supply. So according to the market structure, cross the point of supply and demand each other. This is the price. So we call it market price. So this is the price where they would price as a price takers.
Yes.
Continue. Quantity can be changed according to their preference. This is the firms, this is the industry. So firm's demand curve is something like that one, perfect, elastic, but industry demand curve is normal, downward sloping curve. At that point, you can identify this is the price. And this is the demand, isn't it? And this is the average cost, average revenue. And this is the marginal revenue. Do not worry about that. I will describe. Go to that one. So producer is producing under perfect competitive market structure, act as a price taker. Okay.
Yes.
This quantity is production quantity 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6. And if you are going to act as a price taker, price is not going to change according to the quantity, isn't it?
Yes.
Same prices are there, just 10. So then what about the total revenue? Total revenue is Q multiplied by P. Q is always 1, 10. It is just 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay. So then we are going to calculate the average revenue. What's the meaning of average revenue? AR, average revenue. Total revenue divided by the quantity of selling. In here, you will get the idea what you can earn selling from one quantity, or earning, or revenue per one unit, isn't it? Yeah, that's the meaning. Revenue for one unit. So revenue for one unit always must be equal to P, isn't it?
Yes.
If the price of the commodity 20, you are going to sell only one commodity. Then what happened to the average revenue? It's also 20. Isn't it? Yes. So then TR is 10, quantity is 1. 10 divided 1, it is 10.
10.
20 divided by 2, 20.
10.
30 divided by 3, 40, 50. Sorry.
Oh, yes.
10. Always 10.
Understood. Yes.
20 divided by 2, 10. 30 divided by 3, 10.
Yeah.
40 divided by 4, just 10.
Yes.
50 divided by 5, just 10. 60 divided by 6, just 10. Just look at the value for the AR, always equal to price. This one. So another identical valuable information is there. So then P always equal to AR. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So then marginal value. Okay, first one is blank. Marginal is delta TR divided by delta Q. If you got equation, this is the derivative of the equations. We already calculated that. But the difference is between TR is just 10. 10, isn't it?
Yes.
10 divided by Q, difference, 1. 10. Difference, again 10.
10.
Again 1. Again 10. Again 1. So then what happened to the P, AR, and MR values?
They are equal.
Yeah, they are equal. That's the theory. That is why already I said that in the position of perfect competitive market structure, D, demand, price, marginal revenue, average revenue, equal. That's how I prove it. Why? What is the reason behind that equations? I mean, price, average revenue, and margin revenue equal. What is the reason behind that one? Because these firms act as a price taker. If price change with the change in the quantity, what happens? Average revenue can be changed. Margin revenue can be changed. But unfortunately, they cannot change the price of the commodity. That is why always under perfect competitive market structure, price, average revenue, margin revenue take similar values. That is why we illustrate that P, A, R, M, R. So then now you have to identify, no need to worry about the other curves because those are similar.
Yes.
When you are going to calculate the profitability or maximum profit maximizing activities related to the perfect competitive market structure, it is very easy to identify because price, AR, MR. If question given MR values, you have to identify, no need to worry about the P and AR, it is also must be similar. If question provides information related to the AR, you have to identify this is price, this is margin revenue. It's very easy to calculate the profit maximizing point position where we call it as a average revenue, margin revenue, price equal under perfect competitive market because firms actively as the price take. Key observation because of this one, but price or P is constant, isn't it?
Yes.
Constant. The firm is a price taker, that is why. Firm cannot change the price. That is why it becomes constant prices. Total revenue, I mean TR, increases, isn't it? Yes, increase. Why? Because quantity increase. Yes. Since P is constant, TR go up at a constant rate, isn't it? Constant rate. It change by 10 by 10, 10 by 10. Yes. It increase constant level. AR equal to P. AR, that one, equal to P. In perfect competition, AR is always equal to price. Yes. AR means the average revenue selling 1 unit. It is equal to price. AR equal to P. Marginal revenue. The revenue after selling additional unit called marginal revenue. Marginal revenue remain the same because the firm can sell any amount of the production quantity at a given prices. Any at given prices. Any at given prices. Whether it is marginal or total, same prices are there. So then revenue cannot be changed. Marginal revenue also take the similar value for the average revenue or prices. That is what happened in here. It's very easy to identify. Did you get the idea?
Yes.
So, right. In next day, we can calculate the profit maximizing related to the perfect competitive market structure. Next day, tomorrow. Yes. දැන් මේ කවද්ද යන්නේ?
19 නිසා.
19